Wales and Fiji Autumn Nation Series. I think it's the final game of the weekend. Could be a pretty interesting game. We'll go through the squads, some of the recent history between the sides, predictions, and you guys can let me know your thoughts on how this one is going to go. It's rank 9 against rank 11, and I think Fiji could actually pass Wales if they get a win. Wales are on a bit of a bad run, although the teams they've lost to, you got Tri-Nation Rugby Championship champions and then World Champions in the All Blacks and Springboks. So there's kind of no shame in losing to those sides, although as Six Nations champions, Wales would certainly be like to be winning those ones. Fiji, on the other hand, have beaten Spain away from home without some of their big guns pretty comfortably. So, yeah, mentally it's one where the Welsh guys will need to be up for it because, you know, the Fijian guys are always going to be dangerous. That being said, the recent history between the sides, if you can call it recent, last 5 games, is pretty comfortably in Wales' favour. Of the last 5 games, 3 of them are World Cup games. Why do you guys always meet each other at World Cups? I don't know. But the last 3 have all gone Wales' way. It's that one beyond the last 5 games. If you look back to 2007, that's when Fiji got that kind of famous win over Wales, which feels more fresh. Maybe just because it was such a crazy game. But, yeah, 4 wins and a draw of the last 5 games for Wales. But that's dating all the way back to 2010. So you're looking at more than 10 years ago. So not particularly relevant. Average score across these last 5 is 30 points to 12. But, I mean, you're looking at a 66-0 win in 2011 for Wales. So that kind of blows things out a wee bit, and that's 10 years ago. Most recent one's 29-17, which is maybe the most indicative. That's from the 2019 Rugby World Cup. So, yeah, it could be a pretty interesting one, as I said. For Wales, they've made a few changes. Same front row, though. Francis Elias and Carré as your tight head, hooker, and loose head, respectively. They'll be looking to put in a better shift than last week. Last week, they were under the pump against the Springboks. The Fijians, although they're known for their back play, no pushovers at scrum time, though. So these guys will need to show us what they can do. And I think Wayne Pivac's kind of talked about that a bit. Rowlands and Baird as your lock and duo. Remember, still no Alan Wynn with his long-term injury layoff. And then Jenkins, Young, and Basham is going to be a back row very good at getting over the ball if you give these guys a sniff. Because remember, Wainwright's out. So Basham moves to 8. Apparently he has played younger, like age grade level rugby at 8. I've not seen it. Thomas Young's back in the squad at 7, and then Jenkins is at 6, and he's captain. So like I said, yeah, breakdown specialists, all 3 of them. Hardy and Biggar is the 19 combo, so Hardy gets a crack this week. Thomas Williams drops to the bench. Gareth Davies is out of the squad, and Pivac basically just said, I know what he can do. So, yeah, I'm not sure what that means, really. I guess that he's got an eye on the World Cup and he knows what he can do. Midfield is interesting as well. Johnny Williams and Josh Adams. Josh Adams, I don't think I've seen him start for Wales at 13. Maybe at Cardiff. But, yeah, Pivac out and out did say that's building for the World Cup. He wants guys who've got international experience in multiple positions because you can only take limited players. Johnny Williams is back in after playing in that New Zealand game, Loud Bird. Cuthbert's also back in. That's a bit of a redemption story for him, maybe, if he can have a good game. And then Rees-Zammit shifts to the left wing, so he'll be lightning, but he's up against some proper lightning in the Fijians as well. Liam Williams is back at 15. Remember, he was on the bench last week. So, yeah, good to see him back fit as well. For the replacements, there's Roberts, Tomas, and John as the prop replacements. So Gareth Thomas comes back in. Wyn Jones, I think, has kind of been not up to fitness, I think, basically, Pivac said. Come back from the Lions tour, maybe not in his best shape, something like that. So, yeah, he's out of the squad. Tshiunza could get his first game for Wales if he comes off the bench as well. Still only a very young man at 19 years old, but another guy that Pivac's kind of earmarked as being a big physical presence going forward. Seb Davis is still there. Thomas Williams, as I mentioned, dropped to the bench. Callum Sheedy's back in the squad. And Nick Tompkins also drops to the bench. For Fiji, a few changes from the squad that played Spain last week as well. Ravai starts alongside Matavesi and Dogia. So, like I mentioned, these guys will not be pushovers at scrum time. Wales are going to have to be up front, and Fiji will certainly be trying to turn the screws after what they saw South Africa do last week. Ratuni Yarawa and Mayana Vanua are the locks. I think Ratuni Yarawa was on the bench last week, so Good kind of experienced ball handling lock to have in your squad, so good to have him starting. Tuisova is a big physical presence. He moves from 8 to 6, and Kunavula and Mata are the other back rowers. Mata's offloading game is phenomenal, so Wales will need to be careful to try and wrap him up and not get his arms free to keep offloading into space. Lomani is 9. He wasn't with the squad last week, I don't think, so he's back in. And that means Matawalu drops to the bench. Volavola is still there at 10. He's been a bit of a mainstay for quite some time. Botitu and Nayacalevu are the midfield, which is a pretty tidy looking midfield, bit of pace. Sal, Tuisova. Tuisova is pace and power, isn't he? That guy's a proper unit. And Tuicuvu is there at fullback. So yeah, there's a lot of big name guys, a lot of guys based in France in this Fijian squad. You've also got the likes, like I mentioned, Matawalu's on the bench, Ratuva's on the bench, so Mawi's on the bench. You got some proper talent in the Fijian squad. Fiji, I'm certainly not as familiar with as I am Wales because I don't watch the top 14 enough, but I recognise enough to know that they're not going to be pushovers in any regards of the game. So yeah, that being said, Wales are still favourites, big time. The bookies have got them by 12 points. And the rugby forecast algorithm has got them by 13. So pretty much on the same page, those two predictions. I mean, obviously Wales, they should be backing themselves at set piece time. And Wayne Pivak's talked about kind of stopping the Fijian offloading game. But I do feel like Fiji's all-round game is kind of better in recent times than what we get given credit for. All we hear about is kind of the gold medalist, sevens team and whatnot. But they've kind of got players all round that just play at elite level for various clubs around the world. Their build-up is obviously not helped by the fact that, Vern Cotter's not been able to travel. But yeah, I still think they'll be able to give a pretty good showing. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts. I think this one on at 4:15 a.m. my time here in New Zealand, so I might have to go to bed early to see if I can get up and watch this one live. But yeah, you guys let me know your thoughts, and I will talk to you again soon. See you later.